You're listening to the Fun Never Ends podcast with Metalhead Nelson.
Hey, welcome to the Fun Never Ends podcast. I'm your Metalhead Nelson. Well, it's just me today. Brutal Brett can't make it, so we're going to have a great show. I'd like to address the passing of the late great Jack Russell, formerly of Great White, and Jack Russell's Great White. Unfortunately, he passed away a few days ago. Great guy, met him, seen him, love him. He's one of a kind, so rest in peace, Jack. And also, we have a new affiliate, so if you want to go into the link in the description and get yourself some Sirius XM for 3 months for only $1, go ahead and click the link and go from there. Today's guest is Al Ravage. He is from the band Ravage, based in Boston, Massachusetts. They released a new album back in April of 2024 called Spider on the World. It's been 7 years since your last album. I would like to welcome Al to the show. Al, how you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Now, I would like to talk about that new album. It's been 7 years since you recorded the album. Talk about the length of time span between recording the previous album until now.
Well, time flies. It doesn't feel like it's been 7 years, but yeah, time seems to escape us. I think we had the plan for this album before we even started recording the last album. I think last recording we put out before this one was called Return of the Spectral Rider, and that was really it was a re-recording of our first album, and it was really supposed to be like a bonus album for this album, but we just didn't formally get around to recording any of this stuff until basically the end of the pandemic. So yeah, it took a while.
How do you guys go about recording process along with the writing process?
Well, that's one of the reasons why it's always taken us so long. It's because we end up the guitarists in the band write the music generally. Mm-hmm. Our bassist Tommy has written some songs, but in the past it's been mostly that the guitarist will come up with an almost complete song musically. And they'll bring it to me in a demo form, and I'll come up with lyrics for it and a vocal melody and stuff. And then we'll bring it to rehearsal and kind of put it all together. But, we've always had trouble keeping lineups together, especially the rhythm section. I mean, our guitarists have been with the band since 2001, so for 20 years. But the rhythm section's been constantly in flux. So
is your brother still with you in the band?
Yeah, he's one of the guitarists, Eli.
Oh.
So he's been with me, since the beginning. And our other guitarist Nick has been with us since 2001 around 2000. But we've always had trouble keeping drummers for whatever reason, and bassists have also tend to come and go because we usually find somebody who wants to play guitar, either secretly or not so secretly. We just kind of goad them into playing bass. But luckily, in the last few years, we've had a pretty stable lineup. When we found Tommy to play bass for us, he was always a kind of a fill-in bassist, and finally joined permanently. And then Antonio on drums. So we had a pretty stable lineup for the last few years. And then when we really kind of wanted to get things together seriously for recording, then the pandemic happened, and we couldn't get together. So it's kind of weird.
Are you guys within the same area, or are you guys kind of spread out?
Years ago, we all used to live in a common house, so that was helpful back in the Metal Blade days, about 13, 14 years ago. When we put out the End of Tomorrow album, we actually lived in the same house. The whole band was there pretty much. But these days, we all live in the same state, Massachusetts, but we're pretty scattered. Around the eastern and middle part of the state. So we do get together regularly, but we're not as close as we used to be.
Yeah, everybody's all spread out and busy too.
yeah, life gets in the way, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. For the new album, you got a total of 10 songs. What was your favorite recording from that record? 'Cause I've listened to them. You guys are a power thrash band, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we kind of had a discussion about when the album was about to come out. You know, what are we going to call this genre-wise? You know, because the drummer Antonio, he likes the term heavy metal, but almost anything else he'll object to, like power thrash. He doesn't like power thrash. Doesn't like power metal. You know, there's American power metal, and there's kick-ass power metal, and there's so. I don't know exactly how to describe our sound. So we've kind of gone back and forth between calling it power thrash. There are definitely elements of thrash and elements of power metal and elements of traditional heavy metal. As far as the favorite song I've got, I'd say, it was one of those things where, just going through the songs when we were trying to figure out what we're going to record and demoing stuff. And I thought they were all really strong songs. So I was kind of excited to see what ones would come out best in the actual recording process. And I think we were surprised by the song The Mouth of Pain, From the Mouth of Pain. That was a song that almost didn't make it on there. And I think when we recorded it, it ended up really sounding like one of the stronger songs, which surprised us. And then my favorite from the album is probably Sign of the Spider, which is been kind of like we're trying to bring it out as a single, but we haven't been able to record a video for it for various reasons. One of the other songs, Man-Made Ice Age, ended up being the first sort of single that we came up with in video, which was another kind of surprising song. We thought it was a good song, but we didn't think it would be like the song, and it ended up being the lead-off song on the record. So yeah, lots of good songs, I think.
And the cover art to your albums are freaking amazing, man. You got the giant spider on here, and just like the End of Tomorrow, looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it was kind of a reaction to, in our earliest days, we had really, really crappy artwork. Like, when we first started making demos in the late 90s, early 2000s, we would have like these hand-drawn artworks from me that looked like something that you scrawl on your notebook in grade school, and we got a lot of flack about that from reviewers and stuff when we send them to have the demos reviewed from places. So when we finally did get to the point where we're going to put out something seriously, we decided that we didn't want to be like a bad artwork band. So we've always like tried to overpay and really find name artists who would make something really cool. And luckily we found like, excellent, well-known artists that were willing to work with us. And in this case, Andreas Marshall, who's known for, Creator and stuff he's done with Blind Guardian and Sodom and stuff. He just agreed to do it, and he created 2 really cool artworks for us. And that's what ended up in the record.
It was great, man. Yeah, great art. That attracts the listener too, as well as the songs. Yeah.
I mean, we tried to make it like the old school record buying experience, where you have like a really cool artwork with a lot of like little nuances that you can kind of pour into mentally while you're listening to the music. So that was kind of the idea there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to talk about the beginnings of how Ravage got started and how your influences and everything going from the very beginning when you guys started in the 90s.
Well, in the early 90s, I was getting into heavy metal. I was just like just become a teenager basically, and trying to find my thing like teenagers do. And luckily, I had kind of a compatriot in my little brother who also got into heavy metal around the time. And I was into Metallica and he was into Megadeth, and we kind of went back and forth. But it was mostly, we were getting into thrash metal and traditional heavy metal. And I was really into Metallica and Iron Maiden. And I wanted to put together a heavy metal band, after a couple of years of listening to music, try out my own hand at it and become a drummer. and he picked up the bass and started learning bass, and he eventually moved to guitar.
Yeah.
And the band was going to be me playing drums and him playing guitar or bass, and we were going to find a singer, but we could never find a singer who wanted to play heavy metal. It was kind of like the height of grunge at that point. So, and we wanted to, do a cool, like, super dramatic heavy metal band like Wasp, with a stage show and,
Oh yeah.
and all kinds of monsters on stage and explosions and stuff. And nobody was into that at the time. It was all very stripped down. Like, nobody wanted to play guitar solos. Nobody wanted to have any kind of visuals on stage. It was all grunge at the time. So we couldn't find anybody to join this band. So I just started playing drums and singing at the same time in the earliest days. And he was playing guitar, and we would go through bass players and guitarists. And then eventually we did find, in the late 90s, we found a drummer who would work with us, and I just transitioned to being a singer full time because I wasn't that great at drums anyway. And then we found a second guitarist, Nick, and we just kind of kept things rolling from there. And we never really, altered our sound to change with the times. We just kept playing traditional heavy metal like we did 30 years ago.
You stay true to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's what you have
enjoy.
I don't think you can, if you change your stripes every album, I think people can see through that. And it's not fair to you. It's not fair to them. It's no fun. So we just kept doing what we did, and hoping that somebody would recognize us at some point. 30 years later.
Keep on. Singer wise, who's are your influences as far as vocalists?
Well, when I started out, it was definitely James Hetfield and Bruce Dickinson and Rob Halford and Ozzy. And then I discovered Metal Church, and David Wayne, the original singer of Metal Church, is just blew me away as far as vocals go. For this kind of music, it's hard to top him or Udo Dirkschneider, the guys who really have like that rough, crunchy voice, but can also add some melody to it.
That snarl, right?
Yeah. I've always thought that like a good heavy metal singer should be part Pavarotti, but also part like professional wrestling or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be off-putting. It's gonna be like the Wicked Witch of the West who's trying to sing a song to you or something. The real clean vocals never really appealed to me. The Dream Theaters of the world, that sort of thing. It was never into it. It was always the growly guys who could add some melody to it. The Brian Johnson type vocals.
Add some melody and then power slam you as well.
Yeah, just destroy your vocal cords too as you're trying to sing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's talk about touring. You guys played a number of festivals. You guys played Sword Brothers Festival in Germany, along with Headbed Open Air, Magic Circle Festival, New Mexico Metal Fest, and True Metal America festivals. Talk about playing the festivals along with just touring, just not on a festival gig, but going to like a club gig or something.
Well, we've been lucky enough that over the many years that we've been around, and just sticking around, we've had some opportunities to play festivals, and that's really what has kind of kept us together. Just the occasional really cool show, and also that we like to record and put out albums. But really, it's bringing your music to people, the hardcore heavy metal fans. And getting them to react to it is the coolest part of being in a heavy metal band. So, luckily, we've found people who are good enough to allow us to play at their cool festivals overseas, and occasionally in the United States, but mostly overseas, and had that opportunity to play those really cool shows. I mean, Headbangers Open Air is like that's the top thing you can really do in the underground genre that we're in.
Yeah.
If you're like a real traditional heavy metal band, it doesn't get much better than playing Headbangers open air in Germany. Where
Is that like Wacken?
No, it's much it's down the street from Wacken.
Oh, okay.
but it's much smaller scale. I mean, it's like we're talking about like 2,500 people, 2,000 people instead of 60,000 people. But it's a similar outside. You get a big stage. It's outside. It's in a field, and it's like the hardcore people of this genre that are into underground traditional melodic heavy metal. From all over Europe, they come down there, and they get to see the underground bands like Anvil. That's the kind of band that would headline a festival like that, or even Blind Guardian in the early days, that kind of stuff. So it's really the underground, but it's a really cool thing to do if you're a band and you get an opportunity to do something like that. That's really the top of the you can play Wacken or one of the big festivals, sure, but that you're going to be playing to people who are some people who are into you and some people who are going to discover you and all that stuff. And it's really cool to play huge festivals, I'm sure, but this is the kind of festival where everybody knows your songs, and it's like you didn't even know that these people exist. They came from hundreds of miles away to see you, and you're a nobody. So it's pretty cool.
And everybody's singing along.
Yeah. It's the people who know the lyrics to these super underground bands. So it's almost nothing cooler than that. You're reading like the fans, the hardcore fans who will travel and from places you've never been, which is that's the other cool thing. You're connecting with people all around the world who have traveled to see you. So it's really cool.
Hey, music's the international language, so that's the beauty part of being a musician.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. We'd love to play Wacken or something, or Hellfest or one of those big festivals too. That would be cool. We pretty much play anything that we get invited to. So,
absolutely. What's got to be one of your favorite festivals that you played? And are you guys doing any shows in the States? Anything in the West Coast? I'm over here in LA,
so we just played a show at this place in Massachusetts called Ralph's Diner, which is kind of like the place for underground heavy metal shows around here. We played with the New Jersey area thrash band Blood Feast. So that was just like a week ago, actually. And the next scheduled show we have is it's also in Massachusetts with members of now kind of broken up traditional heavy metal band called Ravage, which some people know in the underground. They were kind of a big deal in the late 80s around here. And also Steel Assassin. So they're two big traditional heavy metal bands from the Boston area. Steel Assassin, Ravage, and members of those bands, they're both broken up at this point, but they got together and they formed this new band called Kingdom of Tyrants, and we're going to be playing with them in October. So we get that show coming up. That should be pretty cool. But as far as getting to the West Coast, we haven't actually played in the West Coast since 2009, so it's been like 15 years since we played over there. We would like to get over there if we could, if we can get on a festival or something. We're going to try to get on some stuff next year, and if there's the opportunity, like I know they've had Gates of Metal Fest in LA. We were looking into that.
Yeah, that was in Orange County. That was over in Garden Grove at the Garden App.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I was actually trying to get over to it last year, but this year I guess it was canceled. So hopefully it'll come back. And something like that. If we could get on something like that, we would definitely come out to the West Coast and play some shows. So.
Yeah, it would be great to have you guys out here, and then I'd definitely come and see you. Riot V actually played this year, and I totally missed that.
Oh, yeah, that's an awesome band. We played with them. They actually headlined Headbangers Open Air when we played that.
I did an interview with Todd. He's cool.
Yeah, Yeah, I haven't actually met him or run into him, but he's quite the singer. He's really brought that band forward, which is amazing because it's got such a history, and that they're able to keep going because they found a singer like him.
Yeah, definitely. What's one of the bands that you've played on the bill with that you would love to play with again? That there's got to be like at least your top 5 or the dream tour that you would want.
Oh man,
dream gig.
But only bands that we played with before. You're saying?
Before and like who would you want to tour with or play with in the future?
Well, as far as bands we've played with before that we'd love to play with again, that were really awesome bands. Lizzie Borden we played with back in 2002, which is we're 20 years ago, but we played a local show opening for them. They were one of my favorite bands at the time, and they still kind of are. So playing with Lizzie Borden again would be awesome. Manowar, obviously we play with Manowar. And Bill,
love Manowar.
Yeah, so we played with a lot of cool bands. Metal Church, I think Metal Church. If we play with them again, that would be really cool. So, yeah, we've had an opportunity to play with a lot of cool bands over the years. So, any one of them would make an awesome show again.
Absolutely. And you get anybody out there, whoever's out there listening, and you guys want to find Ravage, hey, go to Boston and go catch a show, and then you can go up and actually purchase their record by going to their website, which is ravagetheearth.com.
That's it. Yeah.
Find all the albums, buy the merch, buy some CDs, recommend it to all your friends. I definitely did.
Yeah, keep our website going. Buy some merch.
Oh, yeah. I'll put the link in the description for anybody that wants to go to the website to purchase, to check out more about Ravage. And if you're going to stream, buy the album, help out the band. That's the important part. Keep them going.
Yeah,
from a musician to a musician.
I don't mind the guy, people streaming. Everything's expensive now, so stream away. But, listen any way you can. But if you want to pick up a shirt, we got hoodies, shirts. Hoodies if you're cold, t-shirts if you're hot. Pick up some.
Hey, pick up one per season.
Yeah, there you go. You get your whole wardrobe. RavageTheEarth.com. Because we still got the .com. You got to pay the monthly fee for the .com. So.
Well, I'll put the merch link at the bottom, ravagemetalmerch.com.
Yep. That's our new merch site, which is linked at ravagetheearth.com. That's where you can get the vinyl. So if you want to be a real fan, get the double vinyl version of the album. So you can always stream it, but the double vinyl actually comes with 2 extra songs. So that you cannot get on the streaming sites.
I'll definitely have to get myself a copy of that special edition vinyl along with the sticker so I could throw on the back of my car.
Oh yeah, it comes with a sticker. Comes with a collectible guitar pick. Comes with a bunch of stuff. So check it out.
Good stuff. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Anything you like to add? I would love to thank you to being on the show. I appreciate you taking your time out in your day. Anything you like to close out with?
Well, thanks so much for having me on, man. Just go to the website, ravagetheearth.com. Check out our music. Check out the merch. See if you like anything. Pick it up. Help us out. And we hope to see you guys at a show sometime. We will be playing again in Massachusetts. So if you're in the New England area, come on down. We've got a cool show coming up in Taunton, Massachusetts on October 12th. So come on down at the district, I guess. And we're going to have some videos and stuff coming out soon, hopefully. So stay tuned.
I'll throw in all the social media links in the bottom. I'd like to thank Al Ravage to being on the show. Appreciate you. And it's been fun. Fun Never Podcast. You can find it at funneverspodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And click in the link in the description for that, along with the SiriusXM link to get you 3 free months for $1 for the app. For myself and Al, this has been an episode of Fun Never Ends Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next episode.